third fight, if Tyson wins the second fight, is there a chance that could be in Europe, could be in Britain, possibly?
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Britain, but you have to understand the problem. The big source of revenue comes from pay-per-view, right? And people are now talking about this next fight that comes up. We'll do 2 million pay-per-view homes in the United States, paying into the promotion $40 over and above what the providers take. $40. So that's $80 million just from the pay-per-view. Plus there's closed circuit. Now, if you move it to England, the problem becomes the fight then goes on in the afternoon in the United States, and you can't do anywhere like that type of number on pay-per-view. If the fight is in the United States, it's on odd hour, early in the morning in the UK, but history has shown that if the fight is big enough, like Mayweather-Pacquiao, they'll get up and they'll watch it.
Okay, so this obviously was before Wilder versus Fury 2, before Tyson Fury won by 7th round TKO stoppage. As it stands right now, according to Boxing Scene and other high-ranking, credible media sources, the fight did anywhere between $750,000 to about $850,000. You know, but according to Boxing Scene, obviously it says $800K. Now, if it wasn't predicted that this fight could do 2 million pay-per-view buys, if we didn't know that coming in, and this fight did this 500,000 more than the first fight was said to have done around like 325,000, and that was considered a surprise then. So if we didn't know about that 2 million that they were talking, that 2 million pay-per-view buys, we would be over the moon about this number. But the problem is, when you have both fighters guaranteed 28 million plus allegedly or rumored, you know, where does the money come in at? Now here in the States, the pay-per-view is $79.99, and you know, let's just talk about it. If you're home, now for the hardcore boxing fan, right? If you're home and you're not going to a fight party, you know, there's a good chance a lot of fans are going to stream it. It's so easy now, and to me, it's no disrespect, but guys like Bob Arum, Billy Wagner over there at Fox Sports, you know, executive, Al Heyman, who, you know, we know he had a Motorola phone and all that shit. They out of touch. They don't know how this shit really is out here with this illegal streaming. Like, if people are not going to a fight party, and let's say, for example, if you at work or something, you know, people who are in the know, you know you can pull that shit. Anybody got a link to the fight? They messaging you on Facebook. Link to the fight, link to the fight, link to the fight. It's easy, and it's getting easier. Pay-per-view is dying in that way. Now, of course, if this was, you know, 5 years ago, numbers would have been better because it was harder to stream back then. You know, they're out of touch with that. Now, here is the issue. Marketing. How much money was put into the overall marketing of Wilder Fury 2? How much did that cost? Now, with the fighters guaranteed their money, you know, highly unlikely that they'll be, I'm not going to say highly, it seems unlikely that they'll get back-in, because back-in usually comes, you know, if the pay-per-view hits a certain number, if I'm correct. What was the number this pay-per-view had to hit? According to multiple media outlets, the break-even number was around 1.1, 1.2 million. You know, so therefore, if that's the case, and if they barely get into 850,000 pay-per-view buys, then on a financial sense, on paper, it is a failure. But, or flop. But, to fighters like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder just did 850,000 pay-per-view buys. What the fuck? So that right there is news itself. If we never knew that 2 million buy pay-per-view prediction, we would be celebrating. You know? So what's that equal to? About $68 million in revenue or some shit like that. Also, it said that ESPN Plus and Fox Sports Go subscriptions, pay-per-view buys have been up. 1.1 is believed to be the number that they needed for networks to break even on the event. As usual, piracy impacted the rate. But see, we can never get a number on how many people actually streamed the fight because they never have to get the analytics from the actual streamers. The illegal streamers. For example, I can illegally stream. I would never do it. To me, I don't. It's a shady ass slope, and it's like I can't see can't see how you can make money off of it. You see what I'm saying? I think they just do that shit just to be doing that shit. It's an epidemic. You in this day and age, I'm telling you right now, you can find anything for free on the internet, on your iPads, on your phone, all seasons of shows, movies. And when it comes to pay-per-view, like I said, think of the person that's at home. And the person, the regular teenage kid or, college student, like, damn, I can't go to the party. I can't go to the fight party. But how can I watch the fight? I'm going to stream that shit. Oh, well, let me type in. Let me go to the Reddit forums. They can't combat that. So that's why they got to get out the fucking Stone Age. But this is the way they don't. What reason would the executives have to know about streaming? They know about it, but what reason do they have to know how impactful it is unless they did it themselves at one point in time when all they have to do is just put it on a company card or just, for somebody like any type of promoter or executive or whatever, unless it's some type of obscure fight from Australia or some shit like a Jeff Horn, Michael Zara from 1 or 2, they can just, oh yeah, boop, boop, boop. Oh, let me watch this fight real quick. Oh shit, yeah. Right on the ESPN Plus or they Fox Go. I'm just saying it's too easy. My question is, when it comes to the third fight now, will ESPN and Fox be like, oh, we gonna back off with all the money we was putting in during marketing? But also they could think like, well, shit, if this is a 500,000 by pay-per-view increase, then it's got to be another increase for the third fight. They could be thinking like that. But with Deontay Wilder, with this PR shit he's done with the excuses and all that, maybe that may affect that number. I don't know. I'm interested to know when the rematch is going to take place. I hope it's not as late as November. I would love for it to be in the summer. But, there's some rumors going around that Bob Arum may want it for that new stadium, that's supposed to be opening up in Las Vegas. Jump cut.
Bob, there is something being built in this city. I don't mean Tyson's future. There's something being built, literally. The new football stadium, the NFL stadium. It's going to open, I'm told, in 364 days. Do you see a big fight there at some point, at some stage in the next 18 months, 2 years?
Well, Mark Davis, who's the owner of the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders, is a huge, huge fight fan. He'll be at the fight Saturday night. Yeah, he's a big fight fan. And I've already had long discussions with him about, with the appropriate match, doing it in this really fantastic new stadium, which will be state-of-the-art and seat, I think, 65,000 people, 70,000 or more for a fight.
Well, I don't like to talk to you about fighters that you're not directly involved in, but if I could just...
They did phenomenal, though, with the ticket sales. They sold it out. I didn't think that was possible. I forgot the exact number. Wasn't it close to 17,000 that was in attendance? Can it be stadium? Can it be stadium? See, can it be stadium with the way the second fight ended? With the way the second fight went overall, with Deontay Wilder getting dominated, and is it wise to bring him out in the stadium for a third fight with all that pressure on him? I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I mean, how many people can they get in that stadium? You don't want to have to fight in that stadium, and there's something like 20,000 people there that is looking a little like, you know, like empty-ish. You know, you want to at least get 40 up in that joint, you know? Can they do it? But if they do it that way, they better not fuck around with the tickets. And when would they do it? Where they can make sure that people are going to be there and travel. You know? There is a lot of questions. Deontay Wilder has yet to put anything on his social media. And outside of the couple of interviews he did with ESPN, Dan Rayfield over the phone, and Kevin Iole, and maybe somebody else, I forgot who, where he was talking about the suit and everything, that got just bashed here on my channel and on, you know, major sports platforms like ESPN and Fox. By the way, this interview, once again, was before Wilder Fury 2, even before it was even officially announced. So he was already talking about the details of the fight. Like, for example,
But the winner of the fight for the third, no, this signed deal. Not only is it a signed deal for this fight, which would be the second fight between these, I think, the two best heavyweights in the world, but the winner of the fight.
Hey, I was told by one of my channel advisors, it's a shame that I have to say this, but please make sure you like the video, all right? I'm not doing this for my health. Thank you. Please subscribe.
For the third fight, which is already signed, gets 60% of everything, and the loser 40%. Right now, it's signed for the second fight. Each side gets 50-50.
So 50-50 for the second fight, 60-40 going into the third fight. Is the second fight, is it done in Las Vegas, or would you prefer it in Las Vegas?
I would prefer it certainly in Las Vegas. I mean, Wilder may object now because states and so forth. And I think the big arena, which the T-Mobile, where he'll be fighting this Saturday.
I think for the third fight, they can move to the T-Mobile Arena. So here's some quotes from Chris Mannix. Officials had hoped for 1.1 million effectively break-even numbers, and we very well know that Bob Arum in various interviews had wild visions of 2 to 3 million pay-per-view buyers, which was never, ever realistic, given the first fight, December 18th of December 2018, did 325,000. If it did do 800K at $79.99 price point, this is from Bad Left Hook, that is just short of 64 million in pay-per-view revenue. If it was 850, that's short of the 68 million I was talking about. Word is that guaranteed at least 25 million. I heard 28, or it's been rumored also by other media outlets that it's 28 million. They were both guaranteed, plus a cut of the pay-per-view. Now, once again, from my knowledge, a cut of the pay-per-view only comes after or if the pay-per-view reaches a certain number. So the famous, I'm not going to say famous from what I'm talking about. The example I like to use is when Mayweather fought Canelo, he got back-end money because the fight did so, you know, it was massive. When he fought Robert Guerrero, he just got the flat rate, right? That do $1 million? No, not Robert Guerrero. When he fought Marcos Maidana the first time, and when he fought Andre Berto, he just got his flat rate of that guaranteed 32 million. But it was heavily rumored that if the pay-per-view ever, you know, his number was $1 million. So if the pay-per-view ever did $1 million, then he got back in money. You see what I'm saying? So this could be a similar situation where, you know, and I'm guessing if they're saying their break-even point was, you know, 1.1, then how much of this split was what the fighters have gotten? That would be, because obviously, you know, the promoters and the networks would also get a split of that 1.1 of whatever that back-end money is. I know I'm getting a little too all over the place. So for the fighters, once again, it's not a bad number for the fighters. No way. But for how much they put into this, you know, this was some epic shit with ESPN and Fox coming together full force. Like with their shoulder programming, their daily shows, the first takes, Skip and Shannon, Speak for Yourself, PTI, you know, all that. They was going hard. So all that stuff costs money. They have Max Kellerman, on the same, stage as then I don't really like this Fox Sports crew. I'm sorry, I really don't. Except, Shannon, he cool, but everybody else, not really, especially Skip Bayless. But the point I'm trying to make is there was some epic shit to have them all together. So we're going to talk about it in more detail later on. TstreeT controversy with FightView360.com. Looks like this saga is going to continue. Deontay Wilder has invoked his rematch clause, but many are, in boxing, promoters, managers, even fighters are like, yo, maybe he should take some step-aside money. Anyway, please subscribe. TstreeT controversy with FightView360.com.
Against Wallen, it was not available because the hockey team will be in it, but the MGM Grand, which has had all the Tyson